Alright, before the video starts, I want to give a big old thank you to all the people who gave me their opinions on the I Want Your Opinion video. Like seriously, I had no idea that many people cared. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'd like to give a very specific shout out, however, to Darkness Forever, who gave me a very helpful suggestion of that I might play stylish RPG games while walking around and playing like a casual and making unfunny jokes. Which fits me perfectly, because none of my jokes are funny and I play like a casual, so obviously this would be the best possible choice. However, I like his last suggestion best because it's a new thing that I don't think I have ever tried to do before. So, here are the top 10 reasons why Jiren the Grey is the best character in Dungeon Bowl ever. Reason number 10 is Jiren's Name. Now, Jiren's name is actually quite deceptive and leads to a lot of speculation because you see, Jiren is not actually gray. He's actually a little bit more of a bluish pink color. Maybe purple. Yeah, we only found out why he's called Jiren the Grey instead of Jiren the Desaturated Purple in episode 128, where it's revealed that the reason he's called Jiren the Grey is because his parents are dead. Which leads me to reason number 9. His parents are dead. Now, Jiren's backstory is so well executed and so absolutely heart-wrenching that it just puts pretty much every other well-written dead parents gimmick to shame. Like seriously, exposition by a side character showing off characters that we don't even know that are dead that we're supposed to have emotional attachments to even though we don't actually know them? Yeah, masterfully executed. This really is an excellent response to the most recent and probably worst dead parents story I have ever heard, which belongs to JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 7's Diego Brando. Diego Brando's dead parents story gives so many bad things, like it actually shows us the parents' personalities before they die, actually make them look more human, and actually have them die doing something noble and nice that makes us feel all terrible inside. Yeah, if you actually feel something when a main character or an important character or a life-changing moment happens, you're clearly not doing the right thing. Now, number 7 has to do with our 7th President of the United States, Andrew Jackson, and his relation to Jiren. Now, Jiren's relation to Andrew Jackson was not fully explored in the inferior manga version, but was actually explored in the superior and much better anime version of Dragon Ball Super. Andrew Jackson, the 7th President of the United States, was by far one of the most bloodthirsty people in the USA. Andrew Jackson spent most of his free time dueling people to the death and was one of the key players in the start of the Native American genocide. And as it was explained in Dragon Ball Super, the Universe 12 Andrew Jackson was actually a personal mentor of Jiren. Having such a ruthless person as a mentor seemingly explains a lot of Jiren's cold and seemingly unfeeling demeanors. Plus also the scene where Jiren and Toppo are having tea in the White House with Andrew Jackson is by far one of my favorites. Seeing an executive officer and 2 guardians of the universe discuss the nature of justice over tea was, well, it was pretty interesting and got me thinking a little bit. Plus it also showed a bit of a quirk for Jiren, him loving his tea with cream and biscuits. It's a real shame that most of the Dragon Ball community dismisses this scene as filler though. Number 9,000, he has a number. Now, number 6 is Jiren's eye power. We've already been established that part of the source of Jiren's power is his eyes, but did you know the reason why the white of his eyes are actually a darker shade of color? It's because they absorb more sunlight. You see, Jiren actually gets his power from the sun. That's right, he's solar powered and green energy efficient. Jiren's 2 pastimes are meditating and staring directly into the sun all day, and by staring directly into the sun, he is drawing up more and more sunlight, and more of that sunlight is being caught by the white of his eyes because they're a darker color, and hence absorb more sunlight. His mass meditation is actually a sort of photosynthesis, which converts said sunlight into pure ki energy. Which is another reason why his ki energy is a distinct color of red, because in Japanese culture, red is associated with the color of the rising sun. Number 100, fuck you, money and action figures. Alright, now number 2 is a doo-wah, 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 doo. Jiren is such a terrible villain. Na doo-wah, doo-wah, doo. Now, number 1 is highly speculative, but just go along with me. Is Jiren a joke? I mean, let's think about it. Pretty much every other character in the Tournament of Power, from the minor villains to the major villains, have all stood out much more than Jiren ever has. We have a character that is struggling with their own ideals of what constitutes justice. We had a parody of the magical girl trope with pretty much the entire trope just flipped on its head. I mean, we did have universes like Universe 9, which were just filled with horrible people, but then we had all these other universes who were, well, just trying to survive. Very few people in the Tournament of the Power are what I would call distinctly evil, and yet, despite all these new concepts of morality and powers that have been played around with Dragon Ball Super's Tournament of the Power, Jiren is the most cardboard cutout of all of them. Why? It's clearly not that the team working on Dragon Ball Super are incapable of writing complex characters, it's just that they didn't with Jiren for some reason. Why? Well, the speculative answer is that Jiren's a joke. He's a parody of shonen villains. There's been a lot of trash in shonen anime, and a lot of our favorite villains have also taken a hit between their awful powers and their terrible motivations, and they're, well, doing everything that Jiren does. It could be that Jiren is also making fun of Dragon Ball itself, but let's face it, a lot of the charm and appeal of a lot of Dragon Ball villains was their charming personalities. Frieza is incredibly charming with his whole evil dictator act. Cell starts off as an incredibly creepy character who turns into a narcissist with a quick wit who takes nothing seriously. Boo is incredibly unnerving for being so innocent-seeming yet so powerful and destructive and evil, and all of his subsequent forms are all charming and quirky in their own way, with Super Boo's You're Missing the Point scene being my favorite in all of Dragon Ball. So I don't think Dragon Ball Super is making fun of themselves with Jiren, but even if he is a parody, it still doesn't really redeem him as a character. There are better, smarter, and friendlier ways of writing a parody of a Dragon Ball character. But with this in mind, it does make watching everything Jiren does a very different experience.